Good evening, everyone. Welcome in to the Confident Autistic live stream. I am the Confident Autistic, but you can call me Chris. Welcome in. It's May 7th, 2026. Almost forgot what year it was for a moment. Where's my mind? Hopefully everyone's having a wonderful week. We're about 25-30 second delay from what I can tell on this end. So while we're waiting for everything to kind of catch up, go ahead and put in the chat where you're watching from tonight, and we'll get the thing started here right about now. So, hey, to find yourself as I am, the Confident Autistic, but you can call me Chris. And this is the Confident Autistic Live. Now, if you're new here, this is a space where we can drop the mask and start seeing ourselves clearly and living confidently autistic. So let me know in the chat where you're watching from. And more importantly, do you consider yourself someone who thrives on routine? I know that I do much better on routine. I like to say I thrive, but my life goes a lot better on routine. I don't know if I meet the thrive threshold yet, and I'll talk about that in a little bit. Why I don't think I'm there, but yeah, let me know in the chat. Do you consider yourself someone who thrives on routine? And while we're waiting for the replies to come in, have you ever been told that you are too rigid? Why do you need everything the same? Just go with the flow. I probably have heard all of these or variations of these throughout my life. I don't know about you, but I know I have. And inside of you, when you hear those things, you are thinking, I'm not trying to be difficult. I'm trying to function. Now, for me, I would only do the first half of that. I would say I'm not trying to be difficult. I did not realize until I received my diagnosis of autism late in life that I was just trying to function, but I really wasn't trying to be difficult. But I realized routine and normalcy really helped me regulate, which is one of the benefits of us doing routines. So we're going to dive into that tonight as well. So tonight, I want to flip this completely on its head. Because what if your need for routine isn't a weakness? Some of us may think it's a weakness because the neurotypical people in our lives have have told us this is wrong. You're too rigid. You got to relax. Go with the flow. But it's not a weakness. What if our structure and routine that we have is one of our greatest strengths? Tonight, we're going to talk about autism and routine, why it feels so important for us autistic adults. But first, I would like to share with you that we have, as of a few minutes before I went on the air tonight, we have 351 subscribers. And I am very grateful for each and every one of you who subscribe to this channel. I really am. It means a lot to me. And I appreciate your subscribing and being a part of the channel. Now, we would like to see this channel grow, and I need your help with that. So when you have a chance, click like on this video, share this video with your friends, your family, your pets, your neighbors, a stranger you meet on the street. I don't care. Share it with anybody. I really don't care. And don't forget to subscribe to this channel because we want to get this channel growing so it will reach more people. I can't do it alone. I'm doing all I can. The SEO is doing his part, but I need your help. So please share this video with other people. Now, another thing that I'd like to mention to you is I have a free resource for you, and it's called Live Confidently Autistic, a guide to understanding yourself and building confidence. Now, this guide is packed with practical tips, insights, and strategies to help you embrace your neurodivergence with pride, overcome self-doubt, and build lasting confidence, that is, and navigate life authentically and unapologetically. And you can grab your free copy at theconfidentautistic.com/start. And I am going to get over to the screen and put that into the chat right now. It is also, I thought I had this copied. Hold on. No, I did not have the copy. Let me go and copy that real quick. But it is also in the video description. So if you're watching this in an archive, don't worry, it's in there as well. And I may even pin a comment after this. I don't know. Who knows what I'm going to do? There we go. Now that we got all that stuff out of the way, let's get into tonight's topic. And we're going to reframe the narrative when it comes to routines. Now, let's dive into why routines feel so important for us autistic adults by starting with how the world often labels routines. I hate labels. I really do. I think labels only belong on soup cans. But this is how the world, the neurotypical world, will label our routines. So some people will label it. But they don't realize there are people in the neurotypical world that have routines too. Maybe not as detailed as ours, but they do have routines. Now, some of the ways that they label them is rigid, inflexible, or even controlling. Yes, some of our routines can come across to people as controlling. And as a person who is autistic, I know that I can actually see it myself. I can see how, from another person's point of view, that my routine can seem controlling to people. You know, I have to have a trays. We have TV trays in the living room. We have 4 of those. They have to be in a particular order. Okay. Now, when I was younger, I like things being in the same spot because it's easy for me to find because I'm also visually impaired. But I also want things in a particular order or spot so I can find them easily. I have there are times I will we have 2 entrances into our kitchen, and there's 2 light switches, one on each side that will go in. They have to both be down when I leave the kitchen. So if I go in the south end of the kitchen, when I leave the kitchen, I got to go out the south end to turn that light switch down. If somebody does not do that, it drives me up a wall. It drove my wife up a wall. So yeah, I can see how she thinks this is controlling, like I'm controlling her. You got to go out the way you came in. I get that, but yeah, that is one of the 3 ways that people would look at our routines. But here's the truth. I mean, we did talk about labeling them as rigid, inflexible, and controlling. But here is the truth. Routine isn't rigidity. It's regulation which provides us with neurodiverse nervous system safety. Nervous system safety. That's what it does. That's what our routines do. I've really thought about it. I've noticed when I am engaged in my routine versus not, I am more self-regulated. I am calmer. I don't know about you, but I know that's true about me. Because for autistic brains, the world can feel unpredictable. Oh, golly, it's so unpredictable. Loud, oh, loud and overwhelming and constantly shifting. You agree with that? Put agree in the chat if you agree with that, because I know I feel all those at one time or another, and probably all, I'm counting them right now, 4 of them every single day. I really am. I, I I think the world is unpredictable, loud, overwhelming, and constantly shifting every single day. Routines is how we create safety in this world that seems overwhelming to us. Routines is how we create safety, predictability, and emotional stability. And those are key things that are very important to us to help us stay self regulated and be able to handle all the stuff that's going on in the world. So, our routines is not about control, it's about not being overwhelmed every second of the day. Now, think about what routines actually do for you. They do many things. Does it reduce decision fatigue for you? It does for me. If I know my routine is I'm going to have a bowl of Frosted Flakes every morning for breakfast, which I've done for practically every morning since I was 3 years old, I don't have to make a decision in the morning. What am I going to have for breakfast? Bang, I have that already decided. Routines help us lower our anxiety. Yes, because if we have a routine, which we talked about, giving us predictability, we're not anxious about what's going to happen next because we have a routine. We know what's coming up. It helps our nervous system settle. When we're less anxious, our nervous system is settling and we feel calmer. And a routine creates a sense of control in a chaotic world. And I think of all 4 of those things. the anxiety, that it lowers anxiety and it creates a sense of control in a chaotic world are the two most important benefits of routines for little old me. Now, this is not a weakness. All routines are not a weakness. Routines are self-awareness and self-support. We know we need this. We know this, especially if we've learned it over the years. We discovered it as we discover in the spectrum. We've heard about routines. We started trying them, and we realize this really does help me. These routines, honestly, for many of us, routines is the difference between surviving and spiraling out of control. I know that's true for me. Is it true for you? Yeah, I know it's true for me. Routines help me to conserve mental energy spent on executive function. Good point, Vance. That's a really good point because that does help us conserve energy so we can do more things during the day instead of get up at 6 a.m. and I'm done for the day by 9. That might be a little over dramatization, but you get my point. Now, if you're thinking, I want to say something that might, well, I actually do. I want to say something that might feel new to you. Needing routines doesn't make you less capable. It means you understand what you need to function at your best. See, a lot of people who are neurotypical, they do their best, but sometimes they make mistakes, fumble, that kind of thing. But with our routines, and we have a routine, I call them protocols at times. I used to volunteer in the intensive care unit. Everything has a protocol in the hospital. Practically everything does. So you know what to do. Then there's less likely of a mistake or error. So routines does not make us less capable. It means we understand. It means we understand what we need to function at our best. It means that we have a plan of what we want to do that day, and we have routines, or as I like to call them, protocols. When something happens, we are prepared. And the protocol could be a script that if someone comes to your door wanting to sell you Girl Scout cookies, you know what you're going to say in advance, and you're not thrown because you have that protocol, you have that routine. But we're going to talk about protocols and that kind of stuff maybe in a future live. So needing routines doesn't make us less capable. It means we understand what we need to function at our best. And that's confidence. Confidence isn't, I can handle anything. Confidence is, I know what works for me and I honor it. That's what confidence is. You don't have to feel that you can handle everything. Okay? No one can. Everyone has a breaking point. Confidence is that you know what works for you the best and you honor that. And if routine works the best for you to help you make it through the day, no shame in that. There's no judgment zone here. Go for it. Honor that. All right. I want to hear from you. This is really important. What is one routine you rely on that helps you feel grounded? Maybe it is morning coffee the same way every single day, watching the same show at night, eating the same safe foods, or a quiet depression time. Drop that in the chat. And this is no judgment zone. Remember that. Now, for me, what is one routine that I rely on that helps me feel grounded? I have a routine, and I call it a routine, but it's not. Let me explain. I do this when I need to. I have a couple of playlists that I found on Spotify that are autism sensory friendly, relaxing music. And I will put those on to help me relax. I close my eyes, listen to the music, and I visualize colors changing in front of me like a kaleidoscope. It's really cool. That's one of the things I do for to help me feel grounded. Another thing is I'm developing, and we're going to talk more about this later tonight, but I'm developing some routines. Like I'm trying to get together a morning routine that I get up a certain time, do things at this time in this order, and it works. And I think think this is really going to help me. Let me explain. For, well, almost a year, okay, maybe a little bit more. I woke up in the morning and I had a high level of anxiety. I just woke up, within 5 minutes, my anxiety level was at maximum. Okay, it was already there. And I'm not, I just stepped out of bed, or I'm not even climbed out of bed, and it's that high. Now, initially, I thought that was the anxiety that somehow I sensed my wife was near the end of her life because she died last November. But it continued after it. And I thought, well, just all the changes in my life. Well, this week, now my goal is to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning, and I've been sleeping into 8. And now I got up this week one day at 6 o'clock in the morning, went in, did my morning chores, doing the dishwasher, feeding the cat, getting myself breakfast, taking my medicine, checking on my mom, seeing if she needs anything, that kind of stuff. And bada bing, bada boom, my anxiety was so much lower because I was using this routine. So I'm really working on myself finding a routine that helps me feel grounded. That is one of the routines that does help me feel grounded. And that doing that in the morning, and I'm developing more and more routines in that align that will help me feel grounded. We're going to talk a little bit more about that later tonight. Same TV shows. Let's see. Same TV shows, 3 eggs every morning, and a few other things. Yeah, that's great. Now, on the weekends, here's another routine that helps me feel grounded. I've done this for years. Friday night is pizza night. Every Friday night, I either make myself a pizza. I'm not getting paid for saying this, but I love the DiGiorno's pepperoni wood-fired pizza. Those are great. I make one of those, or I'll order a pizza. So every Friday night is pizza night for me, and I look forward to that each week. Is pizza night. Every Thursday night, this is a routine that I'm getting better at, and maybe this is part of a routine that helps you feel grounded. I don't know. Joining me live Thursday nights at 6 p.m. Central for the Confident Autistic Live. That could be a routine that helps you feel grounded. You never know, you know. So we did the drop in the chat, and I read one of them. And thank you for those comments, fans, uh, on routine. So if you have one, you haven't dropped it in there, go ahead and put it into the chat. Now, I would like to take a moment to help us normalize and validate our routines. So I'd like you to look at it this way. Our routines are rigidity. I know we said earlier it wasn't, but they are. They are adaptations that help us stay regulated. That's what they do. They're really not routine. I guess you can say they're not rigid. They are adaptations that help us stay regulated. Probably be a better way of putting it. Routines are how we take care of ourselves in a world that doesn't always make space for us. Many of us in the spectrum feel that this world was not made for us. Many people in the disabled community feel that way. Not just the disabled community. I think every community, people in the LGBTQ plus community probably feel that way at times too. Anyone with a disability, minorities probably feel that way too. We all feel that way, okay? So we don't have the exclusive rights to this. And this is why it's important that routines are how we take care of ourselves in a world that doesn't make space for us. We all got to have a coping strategy. Now, some people, whether you're on the spectrum or not, their coping strategy is drinking. And I'm not going to get into a big thing on drinking and all. I mean, if you want to drink and you're responsible about it, hey, more power to you. Enjoy it. I don't drink myself, okay? We have a history of alcoholism on my dad's side of the family. I'm at a higher risk of becoming an alcoholic, so I have chosen not to drink. I did drink twice in my life. I was doing the math here, 21, 22. I turned 22, and I got myself a bottle of champagne and some orange juice. And I got this glass. I put it 90% orange juice, 10% champagne. Love the taste. Just one glass, but like 12-ounce glass. Had a headache for 2 weeks. Now my birthday is December 17th. On New Year's Eve, I tried it again. Again, a headache for 2 weeks. And I said, that's it. My body does not want alcohol. I don't need to have it anyway because of the history of alcoholism in my family. But there's some people who do turn to other activities that will help them feel regulated or help them cope with the world. And there are good routines and bad routines. If your routine is, watching a TV show that you like, go for it. If your routine is to get drunk and then drive a car, that's a bad routine. Don't do that. Okay. So I just want to mention that we all have routines. We all have ways that we cope with the world, neurotypicals and neurodiverse individuals. And when we find the way, which we're talking about routines tonight, we want to make sure it's a healthy routine that is going to make us better. That is not going to involve us standing in front of a judge and having to beg for his mercy or her mercy. Now, let's talk a little bit about one of the things that comes with us having routines and being autistic is internalized shame. Because for the pressure from the world, the neurotypical world, we may feel ashamed that we have routines because we've been called we're rigid, we're too stringent, we're controlling, we all of these things. So we may start internalizing that and causing us shame. So let's talk about that. A lot of us were taught, directly or indirectly, that needing routine was something that needs to be fixed. And it does not need to be fixed. Okay. We may want to tweak our routines a little bit, but they do not need to be fixed. And because we've been taught this directly or indirectly, we try to force ourselves to be spontaneous, flexible, and easygoing. And that can cause us to experience burnout. One of the big things that we face in autism is burnout. What if instead of fighting your brain against the brain wanting to have a routine and you're saying, but people judge me by that routine? What if instead of fighting your brain, you worked with your brain and embrace having a routine? Just give that a thought for a moment. Now, for myself, and I like to know if this happens to you too, or anything similar, chaos erupts when my routine is interrupted. Now, my routines can be anywhere from complex, like I want to get up in the morning, do this, or it can be as small as I'm going to go into the kitchen, I'm going to put away my dirty dishes, I'm going to get myself a bottle of water, and I'm going to make myself a ham sandwich, and then I'm going to go back into the office and do some work. Now, that's my routine, my plan. I have my plan. That's the routine. I do that every day about the same time. Got it. Now, while I'm in the kitchen, this has happened several times when my wife was alive. She would say, "Oh, while you're in the kitchen, can you get me a Sprite or whatever?" Right? And I was like, I love my wife. Okay, I love my wife, and I still do love her. But it made me get irritated. I started getting grouchy and snapping at her because that routine that I have going, somebody dared to interrupt it. And then at times it would lead to an argument and yelling. And after we realized that I went on the autism spectrum and how that does bother me, she understood why it bothered me more, and I understood it too. So we kind of worked together. But yeah, it does uh, do that at times. Now, sometimes when my routine gets um, interrupted, like if I don't do my morning routine correctly, there's sometimes I get so overwhelmed, I go into shutdown. Of course, we talked about the irritability a moment ago. I would get irritable, but I would sometimes go shut down. I would go into the bedroom for about an hour, lay down and listen to my relaxation music, and then get up and try to do it again. Then I'm upset at myself because I did not follow my routine. Now I'm even further behind schedule. It becomes a vicious cycle. So yeah, when my routine is interrupted, chaos does pursue. Now, what it taught me, it taught me that my routine is very important. And, you know, I do need to be a little flexible because other people in the world's not, I'm not the center of the universe. I've been told that many a times by my wife. She actually called it the Kutu syndrome, COTU, Kutu. Uh, don't be a Kutu. So you got to be a little bit flexible, but now you know why this is going on. and you got to figure out ways to work with that. I learned shortly before her passing. It took 23 years or 25 years of our life, 22 in marriage, for me to realize that when I go in the kitchen, she may ask me to do something. And over the years, I had done the same to her when she was not expecting it. So we had to learn to compromise on that. But, the important thing is, it taught me that routines are important to me and that I do need to be a little flexible. So, what happens when your routine is interrupted? You're going through your routine, something interrupts. I mean, it can be for me a phone call. I'm okay. Actually, I'm pretty good with phone calls because if I don't know the number, I don't answer it. Okay. I remember a line from a movie called The First Monday in October, had Walter Matthau, and it came out in the 80s. The purpose of the movie was to have the first female Supreme Court justice, and that's actually before we had a female Supreme Court justice. And two of the court judges were in the chief judge's office, and the phone was ringing. And one said, "Aren't you going to answer that?" The chief judge said, "The phone has no constitutional right to ring." So I remember that when people call, I don't answer the phone. Now, another reason I do not answer the phone, especially if I don't know who's calling, I was asked to do a presentation to a group a couple years ago from a particular area code. Okay, so I got everything set up, right? Then I got another phone call from that area code. And it was, an annoying call. And like the call hang out, whatever. And I think, yeah, Romance started screaming at them because I was getting frustrated. I kept getting interrupted. Then I looked at the area code and went, that's the same area code that I'm supposed to be giving a presentation to. I hope I did not blow my presentation. So I made it a rule to myself that if I don't know the number, I don't answer the call. They can leave voicemail. And if they don't leave voicemail, it wasn't that important to start with. So what happens when your routine is interrupted? Feel free to share that in the chat. We'll take a look at those in a few minutes. Now, let's start talking about shifting into an empowerment position. Once we stop seeing our routines as something wrong, something interesting will happen. And it has happened for me. Maybe it's happened to you. And if it has, let me know. Imagine this. Instead of apologizing for your routines, you start to protect your routines because we know these routines are important to us. Instead of hiding these routines, we start honoring them. Instead of seeing our routines as a limit, we see them as tools. When we start doing that, we're going to feel empowered. We're going to feel like we are in control. This is a good position to be in. So don't look at your routines as a negative. Look at it as a positive. Protect your routines. Honor your routines. And know that your routines are your tools, our tools to cope in a neurotypical world. Now take a second and think about your day. Let's take a second and think about our day today. What's one routine you have that actually supports you? Now, when I say think about your day, doesn't have to be about today in particular. It can be just a typical day. What is one routine you have that actually supports you? Not something you think you should change, but something that generally helps you through the day, a routine that generally helps you throughout the day. I feel useless the rest of the day if I miss a routine. Yeah, I have this word my wife's grandfather taught it to me. I feel miscabulated when my routines get messed up or if I don't follow my routines. And I feel out of sort. And this really came to my awareness when I was really young, many years before knew I was on the spectrum. I was 19 years old. I was working at a college radio station, and I did the morning show. I did 6 to 9 a.m. on Fridays. And I this happened a couple weeks. something did not go exactly the way it was supposed to. Nothing that would wind me up in a blooper reel, but something just did not work the way I wanted it to, or timing was not right or something. And it threw me off the rest of the show because that routine, that plan that I had wasn't being executed. There's, so yeah, I would feel miscabulated the rest of the day. My whole day was thrown off. And I realized at that young age, this is going to be a lifelong problem for me, and I got to figure out a solution to it. I haven't figured out a solution to that yet, except trying to really follow my routines really well. But we each try different things, don't we? Now, I'd like to leave you with these thoughts here. Our routines were never the problem. Never. I don't care what anyone tells you. Your routine is not a problem. Not at all. I mean, if your routine is to stop by Starbucks every single morning on your way to work, it's not a problem unless you're late to work every single day. Then you may need to adjust your routine because your employer is not going to adjust your start of workday time. Okay, but basically, our routines have never been the problem. Our routines were the bridge we built to stay okay in a world that didn't explain itself. There's a lot of things in this world I don't understand. I'm not the sharpest knife in the drawer. I think I'm somewhat intelligent, but there's certain things that don't make a lot of sense to me. So yeah, and the routines help me keep my sanity in a world that's very, very hectic and crazy. It is. Routines are often the solution we created before we even had the language to explain why we needed them. We probably had routines many years ago. I mean, maybe when we were 3 and 4, did not even realize it. We did, and it helped us. We just went with it, went with the flow. My routine is to shift from work to being home in the evening helps me to rest well. That's great. Yeah. I that was one of my favorite parts of the day because I've always worked at home. I'm also physically disabled, and my wife would come home, and I would look forward to that. We would shift from her being at work to her being at home. She would call me, speakerphone in the car because hands-free driving is important. She worked for a cellular company, so we were really big on that, and we would talk, and then she would come home. I would guide her into the garage so she did not drive the car into the house. No, she's a good driver, but make sure the back end of the car got into the garage so the garage door closed. And then we would shift into the evening, and that was a routine. We had a routine. We would talk on the phone. She would come home. I would guide her in. I love that routine. It helped me get ready for the evening that I got to spend time with my wife. So yeah, great. And I want to thank everyone's participation tonight. That's a tough word for me. Anyway, so if this information I shared with you tonight has resonated with you, do me a favor, hit that like button so more people can find this video. Share this video with someone who needs to hear it. And if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel for more conversations and videos like this. And I've been doing a live each week pretty much. I think I missed 2 weeks, but since the 1st of April, the beginning of April. And they're going to get more consistent, and we're going to be adding more videos to the channel. I know I've talked about in a previous live that we're going to have a podcast. I'm going to do a podcast. That's been delayed a little bit. I had some health issues in April, got really sick. I told you guys about that a week or two ago. And some other things have come up. Every once in a while, that grieving I'm going through from the loss of my wife is still difficult for me. And getting used to, and one thing that I've had to do is create new routines because she's not here. And that has been a real task for me. So, yeah, so subscribe, and there's going to be more videos added to the channel. Some shorts are coming. We're going to be doing more. And if you've not already, check out the community tab on the YouTube channel main page for the channel. I'm going to be posting stuff in the community section on a more regular basis. So, yeah, go check that out. And I will be back next week. I promise you I will. Let me get this up here so I can see what I'm doing. And because we have something very, very, I think that's the right one, very special coming up next week. Here we go. Routines without burnout. So join us next week as we dive into how autistic adults can create routines without burnout. This is going to be a great topic because I'm trying to do routines. I'm trying to develop some of my own. So we're going to do the Confident Autistic Live next week, where we're going to be sharing how we can create routines without experiencing burnout. Now that's next Thursday, May 14th at 2026 at 6 p.m. Central Daylight Time. Now, one of the things I'm going to be putting into the community section is a poll. And I'm going to ask you guys, what time of the day would you like to do these lives? Because we used to do them at 7 p.m. Central. Now we do them at 6 p.m. Central. And I think we had a little bit of a bigger audience at 7 p.m. So I'm going to put that up there as a voting thing. We are meeting at 6 p.m. next week. Okay. Don't worry about that. But we may change the time later this summer or this fall. I don't know. But I'm going to get some feedback from you guys because this channel's not for me that much. Oh, okay. A little bit. It's kind of therapeutic for me. But this channel is here for you. So until next time, thank you so much for joining me tonight. I hope you have a wonderful weekend and look for more videos be coming to the channel in the coming weeks. And take care of yourselves. And until next time, I am the Confident Autistic, reminding you that we can live confidently autistic. We had 11 views. We should have more engagement.